Hello and welcome to the Cybersec Migrant. And as you might know, Google recently launched the Google Cybersecurity Certificate. And many people have been asking, is it worth it? Does it replace Security Plus or CC? Is it a certification? What exactly is it? And so today I'm going to answer that question for you. What is exactly the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certificate? How does it fit in the scheme of things? Is it useful for you if you are trying to get into cybersecurity? And what exactly would you benefit if you took the course? Or maybe you shouldn't take the course? We'll find out. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you consider subscribing to the channel. We release content here weekly that's about cybersecurity, immigrants, and all things along those lines. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching another one of my videos. Now let's get into it. A few subscribers did write in asking me about the Google Professional Certificate. Is it useful? Is it a valuable tool? And somebody even said, how would you compare that to the Security Plus certification, for example? So if you want to know my thoughts on that, stick around at the very end. I'm going to give you those thoughts as well as a little bonus tip if you wanted to know about that. But for the Google Professional Cybersecurity Certificate Program, it's run on Coursera, so you can actually find that on Coursera. It was announced by Google on May the 4th, 2023, and it basically consists of 163 hours of on-demand training videos as well as quizzes and practical labs, which means that you log onto the Coursera website and you do the program, you watch the videos, and they're able to actually go through the courses. There's quick labs allow you to do practical labs, and there's quizzes as well, and there's also some self reflection and note taking that goes on in the process of that as well. So it's quite for a course that is 163 hours of on-demand videos. That's a lot of material. There's more than enough material there to actually introduce you to that. Now, since it's available on Coursera, that's the only way you can that's the only way you can access the course. Google makes it easy for you to just go there. Coursera offers you a free trial. So a free trial, a 7-day free trial allows you to test what Coursera looks like. And then after that, it's a $49 a month fee to access all of the content on Coursera. So you could take the course within 3 to 6 months. Most people taking about 7 to 10 hours a week of learning are able to complete the course in as little as 3 months, but Google estimates it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Now, since Coursera offers a 7-day free trial offer, you can actually start out the course within Coursera, see if you like it, and then if you don't like it, Coursera charges $49 a month to access the platform, and that allows you to take this professional certificate course from Google or any other courses on Coursera. Really, you can take as many as you want in any given month. Now, based on 163 hours of material, most people taking between 7 and 10 hours of learning each week are able to complete the Google Professional Certificate course in anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So it's about 6 months of learning, maybe a little less if you're faster, and you're able to actually complete the certificate. Or if you wanted to shoot for a Guinness World Record, you could. Since 7 days is 168 hours and Coursera gives you a 7-day free trial,
you're gonna need a lot of coffee. I'm not saying you should do it, but hey. So,
let's talk about what does the course contain exactly. What does the professional certificate contain? Now, talking about the certificate course, let's take a look at the curriculum of this professional certificate from Google. There's 8 sections to the course. So there's 8 sections sort of broadly covering all that you can need to get introduced to cybersecurity. It goes foundations of cybersecurity, play it safe, manage security risks, connect and protect networks and network security, tools of the trade, Linux and SQL, assets, threats and vulnerabilities. That's a mouthful. Assets, threats and vulnerabilities. Then sound the alarm, detection and response, automate cybersecurity tasks with Python, put it to work, and prepare for cybersecurity jobs. So there's 8 sections in the entire course, and all of these 8 sections sort of go through all of that material that allows you to Um, and all of those 8 sections cover all the material that you need to get your feet wet in cybersecurity. And the full program, like I said, includes hands-on activities, which are basically labs, which you can access on the Quick Labs platform. There's also quizzes and assignments that test the knowledge you've already learned. And then there's also regular assignments as well as assessments to test that you are truly understanding what the material that's been taught to you. And Google says you're going to learn to understand the importance of cybersecurity practices and their impact for organizations. Also, be able to actually identify common risks, threats, and vulnerabilities, as well as techniques to mitigate them. And also, you should be able to learn how to protect networks and devices, people, and data from unauthorized access and cyber attacks using security information and event management tools, popularly called SIEM. So you can get all of this within this course from Google. And we're just going to go through and look at a bit of the detail of what this course actually contains, just looking at the Coursera website, and like I said, there's a total of 163 hours of material, and they're structured into 8 different sections. In the foundations of cybersecurity section, you're going to learn how to recognize core skills and knowledge needed to become a cybersecurity analyst, identify how security attacks impact business operations, explain security ethics, identify common tools used by cybersecurity analysts. In the second section, play it safe, manage security risk. You're going to learn how to identify primary threats, risks, and vulnerabilities to business operations, examine how organizations use security frameworks and controls to protect business operations, and also to define commonly used SIEM tools, and also learn about playbooks. Then we're also going to do a bit of network security, networks and components of networks, how is data sent and received over a network, which is also very important, and how to secure networks against intrusion tactics. And it's very interesting that they've also included some information on system hardening techniques, which are very important and very crucial in the workplace today if you want to take cybersecurity serious. So that's good to see that there. And then there's also tools of the trade, Linux and SQL, which are 2 tools which are very important in the arsenal of anyone who's going to get into cybersecurity. It's good to be able to understand how to use SQL to retrieve information from a database, and also how to use the Linux command line to actually interact with the computer and with the system. So you get to learn all of that here. Relationship between operating systems, applications, and hardware. How to navigate using commands, using the shell interface, Bash, or any other shells you might want to use. And then there's also a section on assets, threats, and vulnerabilities, where you are able to classify assets, to analyze attack surfaces, how to find risks and vulnerabilities. You're also able to identify threats such as social engineering, malware, web-based exploits as well, and they talk about the OWASP top 10, and you're also able to summarize the threat modeling process. And then in the sound the alarm and detection and response section, you're able to identify the steps to contain, eradicate, and recover from an incident, analyze packets to interpret network communications, understand the basic syntax and components of IDS and NIDS tools, as well as perform queries in SIEM tools to investigate events. So that's also, that's getting into the area of the things you're going to need if you're going to be a SOC analyst. So find that very useful as well. And then there's also some learning about Python, which is probably the most important. If you want to learn a programming language and you're going to cybersecurity, Python is probably the best option for you to learn because it's widely used in cybersecurity. And so it's good to see that the course actually has a module on Python, and you're able to actually see how to learn how the Python programming language is used in cybersecurity, use regular expressions to extract information, practice how to debug code as well. So all of that makes it actually quite useful for that. And then finally, there's a prepare to put it to work, which allows you to learn how to engage with the community of cybersecurity professionals, how to find and apply for jobs, how to prepare for job interviews, and also to determine when and how to escalate a security incident. So I would say, if you ask me, I think the course actually has a lot of material that is very useful and relevant if you're new to the cybersecurity industry. So, and that's a good way to let's talk about what are the pros and the cons, or what do I think about the course. Um, I personally haven't taken the course. I've looked at the material, and what I think for what you get, it's very decently priced. I mean, you can spend $300 or less to get a broad view of cybersecurity. That's hard to beat. That's way less than you can spend at any colleges, or if you're going to pay for a boot camp. So that's a good idea. That's it's very decently priced. But of course, like I said, it has very broad course content. So it covers everything about cybersecurity. So if you knew nothing about cybersecurity before this course, you will still not know a lot about cybersecurity at the end of this course. But what you would know is you would know the very basics about all the various areas about cybersecurity, and that's about it. So it's a very basic, it's very broad, but it's also very basic. So you don't get to actually do the nitty gritty. So, for example, you don't really learn how to do threat modeling. It doesn't really give you a lot of in-depth insight into how you could actually use Python to automate some things. It gives you the tips of it, but it doesn't actually show you that in much detail. You're gonna have to go learn that on your own. It also doesn't give you a lot of information as to how to um, how to use tools like SOAR tools, and how to use integrate playbooks and runbooks, and for decent incident response. So it's a bit short on that, but like I said, it gives you a very good foundational knowledge of everything there is to know about cybersecurity. Also, it has good quality production. The production is really good. There's about 8 different instructors at least. The video quality is good. The audio is nice. It's very good. Um, and I think if you really want to test the waters and see if is cybersecurity for me, this course is a good way to see if it's what you really want to do. If you don't like it, hey, after 6 months, well, cybersecurity is not for you, and then you leave. Or if you like it, then you can decide, okay, I've learned the foundation. What exactly do I want to learn? Where can I go into? So, that said, where would be the best place? So, that said, what would be the best people who would this course be useful for? If you are a non tech person looking to get into cybersecurity, so for example, you're like a project manager or a business analyst who is looking to enhance your cybersecurity skill set because you need that on the job or in a role, then this is a great resource for you. It's a great course that brings you into the world of cybersecurity if you've had no experience in there before and you just need it for ongoing work. Um, is it going to help you get very good and very skilled at development or add-on security to your skill set or offensive security? I don't think so. If you want to do offensive security, or you're a developer who wants to actually build your security skill set, I don't think this course is going to be for you. And speaking of offensive security, I recently did a video on offensive security where I interviewed someone who is an expert in the field, and I'm going to leave a card up here, and you can actually click that card and you can actually watch that conversation that I had with Harsh Modi. Very interesting conversation about the offensive security industry and the market. So that would also be good for you to look at. Now, back to this course. Is it going to get you an entry level role? It can. I actually think it could, because it could give you some practical experience as to how you can actually work in a cybersecurity environment. But I think you would fare better by pairing this with an actual validation of your skills through a certification exam. And I recently did a video comparing the Security Plus and ISC Squared certified in cybersecurity certifications. I'm going to leave a link up here as well to that video. You can go watch that video. But I think if you take this course from Google, let's note it's a certificate course. It is not a certification. There's a difference. A certification is a third party validation of your skills. This is just a certificate to indicate you've completed this course as provided by Google and you know the basics of cybersecurity. To validate that you actually have that knowledge, you need to take either the Security Plus or the ISC Squared Certified in Cybersecurity exam. And then that would help you showcase that you have those skills. So a combination of this certificate from Google through Coursera and the validation you provide using your third-party certification from either Security Plus or ISC Squared CC would definitely get a foot in the door for you, give you a leg up, and allow you to actually get into a cybersecurity role. Will that be the best for you? Like I said, if you are looking to get a bit of an insight without being very technical, this is good for you. But if you're very technical, it might not be the best for you. So what do I think? Do I think you should take it? I think it's an absolutely great course. It's a course that actually covers a lot of the material that you need for cybersecurity. And then once you're done with this course, you can actually then decide, what's my next step? What do I really want to do? Do I want to go deeper into cybersecurity, or choose an area of cybersecurity you want to focus on? What niche do you want to be in? Do you want to be a SOC analyst? Do you want to go into GRC, risk and compliance, that is, or asset management, or identity and access management? No, there's a whole plethora of options available there. But taking this course allows you to know what those options are, and then you can decide, well, what are my skill sets? What am I strong in? Where are my strong areas? And then those can help you actually decide where to go once you go through that. So I think, in summary, the Google certificate is a good course. It's a good certificate to take, but on its own, it wouldn't make you an expert in cybersecurity. You're going to still need to do some more studying. And hey, that's the story with the cybersecurity industry as a whole. You cannot remain stagnant in this industry. It's so rapidly changing that within a couple of years, technologies become obsolete or outdated. So you need to constantly learn, constantly improve yourself to be able to actually remain relevant in this industry. So this is a good place to start if you're trying to get in. And then once you get in, you can decide which way you want to go to. I think it's decently priced. I think it's got decent enough material. And it's come from Google, so there's that backing as well there. And I believe it's going to constantly get updated. So it's going to be, as information changes, as things improve, you would expect to see those improvements make their way into the course. So that's this video for today. If you've stayed with me this long, thank you for watching this video. I hope you would subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, if you like the information, please give it a like. If you want to know everything there is to know about cybersecurity, there is the Cybersec Migrant podcast, which is available here on YouTube. I'm going to put a card to that up here, and then you can actually go watch the series of videos. It's a playlist that has a lot of materials around getting into cybersecurity industry, optimizing your LinkedIn, what the hiring process involves, how to optimize your resume and cover letter, and the best way to go around finding a job if you're trying to get a role, hiring for a cybersecurity job, and how to find your feet. So there's so much information on that podcast. So go there, check it out, and give us some feedback. If you have any feedback, any comments, please leave them down in the comments below. We would like to hear those. And until next time, thank you for watching another one of my videos, and I'll see you in the next video.